It was fantastic. I mean, for us, Daniel, we met a ton of influencers, great people creating interesting NFT projects, which are not just, JPEGs, right? This is like giving them access. I hosted 2 panels with a lot of great entrepreneurs on them, but what I'm seeing specifically is people between 25 and 40, and 40 are millennials, by the way, either creating great content, which is why they have hundreds of thousands, some of them millions of followers. They're developers creating incredible things, usually through the Unreal and the Unity engines. Just so many cool ideas. Yet they don't know how to structure their company. They don't know how to monetize it. They don't know how to raise money that benefits investors, where, when you do a capital raise, you got to get investors in, but they're not structuring where it really benefits them. And then finding difficulty in marketing themselves outside of their social media presence. So they're coming to us, and we're partnering with a lot of these companies and people, which is really cool. And it's leading to even more introductions every time we go to another one of these, crypto conferences. And these are real projects people know in the Web3 space, which is what it's doing for us is it's opening us our total addressable market to tens of millions of more people. And that's what we want to do, right? Because these are people that we could sell our products to. We have a lot of credibility in the space. They say, yes, they bought the real estate for $5 million. They're just a sale, right? So it was a 254 by 254 plot for $7.5 million just sold. We own 11 of those. And that was the virtual real estate, commercial virtual real estate we bought in TCG. So I'm glad a lot of the investors came in for that. I don't know where it's going to be next week. I don't know what's going to be next year. And I'm hoping that, these guys follow through and do what they're going to do. And I'm talking to them a lot, and I'm very excited about this. But yeah, it's just what's going on in this space, Daniel, is absolutely amazing. And I know it looks like, well, Frank, are you a detour here from Stutton? We're not. It's just a whole audience of brilliant people of where the world is going, and you got to be a part of it, right? Someone's followed so many different trends so long. It's just these developers coming to us, right? Now we could sell some of this land and take profits a little bit. We could, work out an equity structure, revenue share model with developers and have them develop these properties. We could lease some of this, just really cool stuff that we could do. And the most important thing with the after parties. And one of the after parties, after parties we went to were really cool. I mean, it was just, there's a bunch of rappers that were performing that I know. That guy Dill had on last week was performing, which is great, from the whole club. It was going crazy. And another one where it was a special event I was invited to, and it was just 40 people. It was like a speakeasy type place, and they had a presentation of Louis XIII. Ooh. And they poured all these glasses for everybody, and they went through the whole history of it. It was amazing. The guy had gloves, so it was beautiful. It was really great, and he gave us all some and how to sip it and all this, and it was amazing. But it was just, a bottle of that I think goes for minimum $3,500. But more importantly is the people that I met there. These are a lot of Web3 people who are very successful, sold businesses, just a networking part where you'll get tax consultants, lawyers, accountants. These are servicing some of the largest players in Web3. And I have to tell you, when we went there, everyone was seeking us, which is really cool. So we're starting to get a big name in that space, starting to add names. But it's a lot of fun. That's where the world is going. That's where I think you're going to make the most money. But still, we do focus on stocks and the Fed and Jackson Hole and stuff like that, because I get those questions sometimes. And like you said, a big meeting that's coming, Daniel, right, is Jackson Hole. Yeah,
if you don't mind, before we get to that, and I'm not knee deep on the NFTs and a lot of that. I know a little bit to be dangerous, but from the conference, did you get the feeling like, you hear the Bitcoin conferences in Miami and things like that. The price of Bitcoin is always talked about. Would you feel or get the idea from the conference with the vibe or the attitudes of people that were quote unquote in a bear market, or did people care, or did you see? I'm not doing a good job of asking.
No, but I know what you see.
Was the atmosphere upbeat, even though it was crypto's down from highs and all that?
Incredibly upbeat. And the projects that these people have and the excitement and the energy in the room is incredible. You're not seeing people that are trading cryptos, right? These are guys that are going to NFTs and Metaverse, and you're seeing a lot of money in terms of funding flow hugely into this industry right now. Massive. And, I talked about in the past of the 120 billion, but it's coming from who? It's coming from the biggest companies in the world, right? Who are weird, who control the internet, right? So this is where they know where the Metaverse is going. And these people understand that the Metaverse is not a video game, right? NFTs are not about, this young thing. It's about ownership, locking in your intellectual property, owning it, right? Your own ownership of your digital content, which, we don't have right now. A lot of people don't have that. Most of us don't. And this is going to give you that opportunity. And just to see what people think and the perception of the Metaverse and NFTs compared to what I'm seeing and what I'm talking to on the ground, And guys, this is the research I've done in every single industry across the board. You go into conferences, you meet people, you're going out to dinners, you're getting drunk, you're hanging out with key players. You have to do this in every industry. That shows credibility. And also, you're investing. I'm spending money in it. So all these guys know that I'm serious. This isn't some idiot from Wall Street that's trying to get in. No. I'm learning from them as much as they're learning from me. And it's just incredible to see the excitement and the energy from these entrepreneurs. And I used to think they used to structure their tokens because when you start a company and you're structuring a utility token, it has no utility. You don't have a lot of clients and you don't have revenue coming in. So the utility is really useless. But I thought they were doing it on purpose. They're not. They just don't understand that. And coming to us and say, no, we want to, this is about our investors. This is about our following. That's the responsibility of these people following us and seeing how they really care. And I'm like, that's your family. Like the people who invested in Curzio Research are my family. Like I want them to participate in the growth. I'm not just saying that. I'm not just bullshitting. It's true because everybody who's helped me out and investors that made money for me, every time they, entrepreneurs or whatever, go to launch another company, I'm writing a check for them every single time because they made me money. And I'm trying to tell them, like, don't think short term, think long term. And just, it's really incredible being around younger folks that are that energetic. It makes you feel alive. It really makes you feel
me every day.
alive.
I understand that.
I mean, holy shit. It's like, it really is. It's cool. I feel like a young kid until I get home and then, have a couple of beers and then I'm an old man again, obviously. But, I'm like,
so you
holy
go to bed
shit.
at 3 and get up at 7 and feel terrible.
Yeah, I'm like a mess and I'm still, recovering a little bit. But just hanging out with these guys and learning a lot and seeing how they work hard and play hard. They're, some of them are bullshit projects, and it's easy to see that, based on my background and been doing this for a long time. But some of them are very,
but that's part of it. I mean, I'm biased towards the space too, as well as wanting it to take off and everything. But I do think that there's a lot to be said about the work ethic and the atmosphere and the attitude, even when prices are suppressed or maybe volume is down or whatever. It doesn't matter in the sense of it's not going away. And when CZ from Binance is great, he always posts basically the same thing on, hey, you continue to build in down markets, and you look ahead, and I think that's great. So, but I am. And that
was one of the panels I was on. It was like how to build your business in a bear market, right? So, well,
they were probably all ears and listening to you until you told them to give away equity. Then they're like, oh, I don't know about that.
I didn't. You know what? I was moderating it, and it's funny because we had an investor who was there. One of our investors, one of our subscribers there, and his name's Javier. I mentioned him yesterday, which is really cool. Hopefully doesn't mind mention his name, but he sold his production company and he was showing me like all the work that he did. ESPN was like it looked like it was 1,000 people. It's like, and there we go. Like getting everybody up, like great MC and all,
that's
everything
awesome,
about that. And he was like, I'll introduce you. And I was like, that's a good idea because I'm a moderator and it was an unorganized conference where no one's introducing me. And if I don't want to talk about you don't want to go up stage and say, I did this or this, it just doesn't look good. And he came out and he introduced me, introduced everybody else. And then I had the panel right after. But it was just weird because there was a couple of young kids on that panel, and it's about how to survive in a bear market. I'm like, how many bear markets have these fucking guys been in? And they're like, well, we were, and but I talked to everyone before the panel, and they were like, well, we were in, the last one. I was like, we weren't in a bear market. We were in a bear market for a month. Seriously, it was a bear market for like a month and a half. That was it. And then the government said, okay, we're just going to spend an limited amount of money. And they're like, well, we helped these people and we did this and, the stay at home and businesses. Everybody did good. I mean, you could have sold whatever you wanted and stayed home and everybody did good. I mean, so for me, I was asking tough questions and I'm like, if you're going to be in front of a crowd, you better know your shit. And, there was one person, you call out and a couple of others were okay. But one of the guys who were on the panel, was a major influencer and huge, sells billions of real estate, sells luxury real estate. I think it was overseas. Nunez was his last name, Alonso Nunez. I just met 80 people and I didn't realize who he was because he got thrown on the panel, Daniel, like 1 second. Like, oh, this other guy's not going to make it. So here he is. And I'm talking to him. I'm like, great. I said, I don't even know this guy. And then I went up there and I said, by the way, this is one of Nunez. And I said, he just was added to the panel and he said he's going to give everyone who came to this conference, came to this session, $1 million to start their own real estate portfolio. And he's looking at me laughing. I didn't even know anything about him. Then I found out afterwards. I'm like, wow, this guy's a monster. He's huge. A big following. And, it was just really cool, the conference all around.